Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Lisa Villegas, and we are doing the first alert. So I want to give you a quick update what we can expect when it comes to a little bit of our forecast. Hurricane Beryl is the big talk right now in the weather world, and then we're going to show you a live shot and what we can expect with our hurricane season. But I do really want to start off with what we can expect in our forecast. So this is a quick shot of what we are seeing right now outside of Uptown. Beautiful this evening. If you're out and enjoying the weather right now is the time to do it within the next 24 hours or so, because we've got low humidity and the temperatures this afternoon, they were a little cooler, highs only in the upper 80s. So that was really nice. And I'm sure a lot of you were enjoying that, especially compared to what we saw this weekend. And I mentioned the next 24 hours being a crucial time to try to enjoy it if you're able to, only because of the humidity dropping thanks to a cold front that pushed through. So let's do a little forecasting. So right now, when it comes to our local forecast, we do have a first alert issued, and it is going to feel like the triple digits soon here. And so we are now watching for the heat and what we expect with that. So first of all, dew points are in the upper 50s, basically meaning, this is good news, we are in this comfortable category. You can see that actually when it comes to our graphics here, highlighted in the yellow. Comfy category. Once we start getting in the 60s, it's sticky, and then up in the 70s, it will be tropical. Unfortunately, we will get there, but let's just soak this up, because right now, in the last 24 hours, dew points have dropped significantly across Charlotte. 15 degrees, we've seen that temperature drop. Again, the dew point over 20 degrees or at 20. Concord, Salisbury, Albemarle for you, Chesterfield, Morganton, Lenoir, right around 20, 21, Boone and Jefferson. So we're talking about some significant changes in our forecast just in the last 24 hours. So speaking of that, as we take a look at the dew point trend, we talked about it getting sticky and tropical. Well, that pops up on the board. First of all, tomorrow, comfy throughout the afternoon. That's why I really want you to take advantage of it. Wednesday, upper 60s with the dew points. So we start getting really sticky, and then into Independence Day, Thursday, dew points now in the 70s, and we remain there for our first alert into Friday and Saturday. So you are going to feel it. It's going to be very similar to what we had this weekend. So that's why I want you to enjoy what we have right now. Here's a look at what it's going to feel like in our forecast. Upper 80s tomorrow, not bad. But then as we head into Wednesday and then Independence Day and then into Friday, this is when we start to see those numbers increasing, feeling like the triple digits as we head into the weekend, feeling like the mid-90s by the end of the weekend and into next week. So what we're getting ready for is a frontal system that's going to approach our area. And as that approaches our area, we're also going to watch the moisture picking up. And this is some good news, because a cold front acts like a trigger, one of the ingredients we need to spark some of this activity with the downpours, the potential thunderstorms, and we will start to see that beginning on Independence Day. Isolated shower possible, but then it starts to ramp up as we head into this weekend. So we're talking about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, looking a little bit better when it comes to our rain chances. So we're really hoping for some significant rain. I know not all of us saw some significant rain, but it's coming. So fast forwarding to Independence Day here, 4th of July, isolated shower, like I said, possible. This is nothing to cancel plans over. You can see again, just a couple neighborhoods watching for this. These downpours or a thunderstorm or two, they're quickly going to move through the area. We're talking 20, 40 minutes max, and then it's completely gone. But these thunderstorms and downpours, they will pack a little bit of a punch too when it comes to some of the rain. It's been very dry lately, even with the recent rain. So we'll be watching out for that, but again, nothing to cancel plans over. And speaking of that, if you are making any plans for the 4th of July that evening for the fireworks that start right around 9 o'clock, get ready for a temperature of 86 degrees. It will be warm. It will be sticky at this hour. So something to watch out for, but pretty typical for this time of year when it comes to the heat and the humidity, right? Just watching for that isolated shower and thunderstorm. And speaking of that and continuing with that trend, what we can expect is, looks like a lot of us in this green color for those like Texas, stretching all the way into Maine, part across the majority of the East Coast. We're going to be in this green category, meaning above normal precipitation, which is some good news because we could really use it. Last month, we were in a deficit of over 2.5 inches, meaning we need a little over 2.5 inches just to get caught up for June. And typically in July, we see a little over 3.5 inches of accumulation. So something to keep in mind, and hopefully we start to see some of this rain really picking up in our forecast, and below normal precipitation expected across parts of the Pacific Northwest. Now, when it comes to the temperature trend in the next 6 to 10 days, so again, at the end of the 7-day forecast, a few days afterwards, looks like we are going to continue with above normal temperatures. We've definitely seen this trend in the month of June. It looks like it's going to continue in the month of July, something to watch out for. And above normal temperatures if you are planning on maybe even heading out across the West Coast, where they're also expecting dry conditions. So really starting to be mindful here as we get into this dry season when it comes to the West Coast, and watching for that fire season. But nothing as of right now, and I want to leave you with a look at your 7-day forecast as we take a look at the next couple of days. Not too shabby. Temperatures lower 90s, upper 80s. Overnight lows, very refreshing if you want to wake up early enough. Talking about 6 o'clock in the morning, mid 60s expected. And then as we head into Independence Day, the humidity ramps up, the heat ramps up. Now we're looking at overnight lows returning in the mid and upper 70s, afternoon highs in the mid and upper 90s. It's going to be hot, just waiting for the relief when it comes to some of that rain we're expecting. And that rain chance, it continues by the end of the 7-day forecast as we continue with the heat and the humidity, even though temperatures are going to be a little cooler, if you will, in the lower 90s. Now that's a look at our forecast. I do want to talk about Hurricane Beryl. So right now, this is a Category 4 hurricane, but if you're looking at some of the current conditions, at the top left hand of your screen, you can see 155 miles an hour. This is the limit for a Category 4 hurricane. If it hits 156 miles an hour, we're looking at a Category 5 hurricane. So something all of the meteorologists across the world are watching for, because first of all, this is very unusual for us to see a major hurricane this early in the season. First of all, this has never happened before. So this is a first of its kind, not only for the strength, but where it developed all the way across parts of the Atlantic. Again, we typically don't see hurricanes building in the Atlantic until the middle of August. So very unusual. Looks like it's going to be a long season, but something to watch out for here when it comes to the strength of Beryl. So right now, 155 miles an hour at the limit when it comes to a Category 4 hurricane. Watching this move west-northwest at around 21 miles an hour. And as it continues on its path as a Category 4 hurricane through Tuesday, doesn't look like it's going to make any landfall yet, but it will be approaching Jamaica. The good news is it looks like it's predicted to weaken into a Category 3 hurricane as it approaches Jamaica, weaken as a Category 2, and as it continues to track westward, as it makes landfall again into parts of Mexico, Belize, and heads into the Gulf, watching for this to continue to weaken. Obviously, they don't do well over land, right? And so as that happens, it heads into the Gulf as a tropical system, but we definitely want to watch out for it, because especially as it gets strengthens, want to see if it turns into a Category 5 hurricane, which I can't believe I'm saying that, but that is a pretty big deal as we watch for that. And speaking of all of that, I also want to point out, if you want to check out our website, we do have some good information here when it just comes to what we're expecting for the entire season. Our web team actually put together a little article, so you are more than welcome to head there and check out exactly what we can expect here for the hurricane season. Obviously, it has already been very active, even though it hasn't really affected us here across parts of, the Carolinas. We definitely want to look for what we can expect when it comes to our forecast. But that is a look at the first alert for this Monday. I will be back in another week, and we'll give you another quick update on what we can expect throughout the week and any big weather stories that we are also planning. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next week.